Alright, welcome back to the channel. This is my FIA Manufacturers Round 4 review. After having a decent race 1 at Dragon Trail, we skipped the next 2, and here we are round 4. On pole, PX7 Windfire, world finalist. In second, we've got the Earthquake in the SRT Viper Group 4. In P3, from Canada, Prana V Superstar. In fourth, from PX7, it's Grove. In fifth place, Venezi in the Mazda Tenza. Rockin' the RCZ Peugeot, it's Devil Dog. And in P7, in the other Hyundai, it's my humble self, NRT Swordsman 52. So here we are riding on board at the start. The goal for this race, like with all of my races, is to maintain a good pace, to try and keep up with the field, but most importantly to avoid penalties. As we've seen in previous videos, the current penalty system is very... what's a good word to put on it? It certainly will happen at any time, it seems, and from little bits of contact or any bits of track cutting for that matter. So here, riding at the start, the goal was to maintain the slipstream. The Hyundai Genesis is generally a pretty slow car in a straight line, and it just so happens the car right ahead of us, the RCZ, is certainly one of the fastest. Now I noticed that K-Bonics in the McLaren had a good run on me, so I thought, you know what, it's early on, it's an 18-lap race, go ahead. So we settle in, just trying to maintain our tires, but also we had to save just a little bit of fuel in this race. And I figured we've already got about a second gap back to 9th place in the SRT Viper. Let's just go ahead and stick with this McLaren. Try and do the overcut. For those of you new to the channel, I invite you to check out some of my track guide, my step-by-step videos to improve your times. And as we round the final turn, that is the first lap in this 18-lap enduro. Alright, cycling through to lap 3. Gentleman in the SRT Viper, notice how far away he is. At this point, he's about 0.8 of a second behind us. Completely misses his braking point, plows us off the track. Now, we've had previous incidents with this particular driver, and it actually surprised me that he slowed down and gave me the position back. However, due to this contact, we lost probably 3 seconds on the top 5. So here to lap 5, PX7 Windfire, top Hyundai driver in North America, holding on to P1. Earthquake in P2, Windfire's teammate Grove in P3. Back to 6th and 7th, I was able to pull away a little bit from the Peugeot and was hounding that Lexus in P6. As the field starts to spread out, drivers at the front generally were on the softer compound, midfield drivers on the racing medium tires. The Hyundai Genesis, although slower in a straight line, is notorious for having really, really good tire wear. And cycling through into lap 7, PX7 Windfire going into the pits. Into lap 8 already. And I decided actually to do a lap further to do the overcut. Try and pull away from the field. Figure drivers would be switching on the medium, and there were 2 strategies for this race. There's either the one stop, where you do softs to mediums or mediums to softs, or the 2-stop strategy would work, and that's what we would be doing. We'd be doing 8 laps on soft, 8 laps on soft, and the final 2 laps on mediums. Still holding on to a top 10 position, which is pretty good for this top split race. Checking out as the field starts to really spread out. Into lap 11. We are right behind that Peugeot RCZ of Devil Dog. And I was hoping he would let us through, knowing that the RCZ generally has just front tire wear. And he does let us through. We're able to dive down the inside for a clean pass. And at this point in the race, I figured, you know what, 6th place is going to be our optimal. We're about 6 seconds behind the top 5, so sometimes you just have to make do and deal with the cards you're dealt. Unfortunate for that first couple lap incident with Closer. Felt like we could have had the pace to keep within the top 5 group. Thing you'll notice in the bottom left-hand corner, the red on the tires. RCZ is just notorious for having just rear tire wear, unbalanced tire wear in this FF car. It might dominate the daily races, but it certainly struggles with the FIA manufacturers races, which are generally longer events. That right there is the end of lap 11 as we hold on, hopefully, to 6th place. Alright, on to lap 15. Rounding the final bends for 3 laps to go. PX7 Windfire going to go into the pits. Swap out from his soft tires. He was doing the 2-stop. Onto the mediums for the final 3. Front V Superstar going to stay out. However, PX7 Windfire is going to maintain P1. And instead of doing 8 and 8 on softs, I actually opted to do 8 and then 7, and then the final 3 laps are going to be on mediums. So unfortunately, by having to do another pit stop, I actually come out in 7th position. However, we have a relatively sizable gap back to the McLaren of Cabonix back in 8th. I've seen this track appear just a few times in daily races. So in terms of practice for this event, aside from lobbies, my experience was relatively limited. As we check out the sizable gap that PX7 Windfire has extended to the Toyota 86. There's the top 5. Devil Dog has a pretty good lead at this point. I knew I was not going to catch him in a straight line, so hopefully we can do something with these medium tires, which are generally slower, but I am on fresh rubber. So, as I'd mentioned at the start of the video, round 1 of this season was at Dragon Trail Seaside. We were able to secure a 7th place performance in top split. Round 2 was Monza, and I figured, you know what, in this 10 race season, where only 5 races count, we're gonna go ahead and pass on that one. As for Scuba, I had actually been having some connection issues. Felt like we had the pace to get a decent result, however, disconnected, and that's all she wrote. So unfortunately for that round, 0 points. So here for round 4, I was hoping for a decent result, and with this matchmaking being in top split, this is where I could maximize the points for even just a top 10 performance, which, based on the current point system, a 7th place result would essentially be a podium in second split. So happy to be here. Watching that beautiful red, white, and blue Nezzo Racing livery with sponsorship by Damien Sportswear, which is a independent German company. And riding on board here at Alsace, however you'd like to pronounce it, Village, or as I like to call it, after all it is Halloween, this is the Village, rated R for racing. That right there is probably the turn I was having the most trouble with, trying to figure out where the apex was, where to lift, where to accelerate. And same thing with the bottom of the hill. Trying to lift just enough as not to upset the car, where the car will want to actually veer to the right into the grass. And that's where I found a lot of people were spinning on replays. And there we are for another circuit around the track. Alright, on to the final lap. Checking out the gap as PX7 Windfire, top Hyundai driver, takes the victory. His teammate PX7 Grove in the Citroen is going to take P2. Earthquake in the Viper in P3. Toyota ahead of Mazda for 4th and 5th. Devil Dog holding on in that Peugeot to P6. And once again, for the second race in a row, a 7th place finish, another 200 points for my humble self, NRT Swordsman. Thank you again for watching. I invite you to like, subscribe, and comment. See you next time. Bye.